Hey everybody, HomeSliceHenry here, and in today's video we're going to be taking a look at some incredibly fun battles in the Open Great League featuring my level 50 Shundo Swinub. Swinub is an Ice and Ground type Pokemon with the moveset of Powder Snow, Icy Wind, and Rock Slide. That moveset honestly sounds pretty good. The catch, at level 50, Swinub only gets to 837 CP. It should be impossible to get wins with it in the Great League, and yet we actually managed to get a few. So without further ado, let's up into the matches and check out Shundo Swinub in action in the Great League. Hopping to the first match, leading Defense Deoxys into Shadow Swampert. Not the most comfortable lead for the Deoxys, so I'm just going to go for the Psycho Boost as soon as I get there. This will put a ton of pressure onto the Shadow Swampert. Swampert will commit an early shield, and now I can send in the safe switch Umbreon. Umbreon immediately greeted with a charge move from the Swampert. I can tank whatever they throw, it's the Hydro Cannon, and now Umbreon will be answered with Pidgeot. Based on their first two Pokemon, odds are they're running Swampert Double Flyer and there's a Noctowl in the back. So the good news is, my Swinub hits Noctowl for super effective damage. The bad news is, Swinub does so little damage being 837 CP that is still not a winning matchup. So even if it is the Noctowl in the back, this is still going to be an extremely tough game. They've already Feather Danced once, I decide to call it again. It's another Feather Dance, my switch clock is up, I save the Umbreon for later, reset the attack debuff, and bring in Deoxys. Deoxys looking for the counter down. Pidgeot makes the last second charge move, it is the Brave Bird. They send in the Swampert, Swampert wins CMP over the Deoxys. I have so much energy on the Deoxys, I do not want to lose this energy, so I will commit a shield so I can go for the double Psycho Boost. Psycho Boost number 1 is going to connect, getting the Swampert low. I'm looking for the counter down. It's a simultaneous KO. That is not what I was hoping to see. I know that my opponent still has the low health Pidgeot. Their final Pokemon is revealed to be Noctowl. I'm farming up and going for the Icy Wind. Icy Wind will hit for super effective damage here. Opponent lets that through onto the Noctowl. I farm up, go for the catch onto the Umbreon. Opponent does not want to get hit with a foul play, so they fire off the Sky Attack. They send in that Pidgeot, and they reset the debuff. But now they've given me an energy lead. The question is, can I actually outpace the Noctowl here? Icy Wind will get the shield. It's going to be a race. Swinub! Oh my goodness, if they have the back-to-back here, I lose, because I for sure lose CMP. Noctowl does not have the second move loaded. Icy Wind from the Swinub takes down the Noctowl, and that is a good game. We've got a bit of a tricky lead in the next match, Defense Deoxys into Noctowl. Noctowl is able to outpace Deoxys in this matchup. I'm going to farm up to the Thunderbolt, switch and catch what I'm hoping will be the Shadow Ball onto the Umbreon, and that is massive. Opponent now going to send in Medicham. Not looking good for the Umbreon, but the one good thing I have going for me here is that I baited out the Medicham, so that way the Swinub will not have to face it in the endgame. Medicham fires off the Ice Punch. I'm returning fire with the foul play here. I will need 3 charge moves to deal any meaningful damage onto the Medicham. I continue to farm with the Umbreon. They're firing off another charge move here. Ice Punch will not KO. The question is, can I make it to the back-to-back foul plays? It looks like the answer is yes. Umbreon going for foul play number 1 into the Medicham. Now going for foul play number 2. Is this going to be enough to KO? It's going to be close. Medicham hangs on with a sliver of HP, but Deoxys gets the counter down. Opponent can send back in the Noctowl, but Noctowl now very much behind on energy. They will send in the Noctowl. They try and go for a catch onto Shadow Quagsire, but Quagsire will be hit with the Psycho Boost from the Deoxys, and I'm in a bit of an awkward spot, as my Swinub does not want to see this Quagsire, so I'm forced to stay in despite debuffing myself. My opponent shields the second Psycho Boost, which honestly works out nicely for me, as the first one did a lot more damage. They're firing off a Mud Bomb. I'm returning fire with the Psycho Boost from the Deoxys here. Psycho Boost is going to connect onto the Quagsire. I continue to farm with the Deoxys. They're firing off a charge move, and I will finally begin to start shielding. That is the Mud Bomb. I'm looking to switch into the Swinub. It's a simultaneous switch. Swinub into Noctowl. I will commit the shield as a Sky Attack. Probably just gonna straight up KO me, so I will commit the shield there and go for the Icy Wind. I need to lower this Noctowl's attack. Icy Wind is gonna be no shielded. That gets the Noctowl low, but wait. This sets up a potential win con. If I can farm down the Noctowl with the Deoxys and get double Psycho Boosts, I can win this game. And I do exactly that. Psycho Boost number 1. The question is, Do they now have a Mud Bomb? Psycho Boost gets the shield. Psycho Boost number 2 loses CMP to the Shadow Quagsire. Mud Bomb takes out the Deoxys, and we lose a heartbreaking game. Picking up a decent lead in the next match, Defense Deoxys into Togetic. Opponent is going to save switch into Diggersby. My Deoxys does hit for super effective damage with the counters, but unfortunately I'm forced to lower my attack with Psycho Boost to deal any meaningful charge move pressure. I commit the shield on the Earthquake. I'm massively over farming with the Deoxys and going for the Psycho Boost. Psycho Boost is going to connect. I'm going to save that energy for later and send in the Umbreon. Umbreon will be able to tank whatever they throw here. Opponent is going to full send the Earthquake again. The goal of picking teammates for Swinub were just incredibly bulky Pokemon that will be able to take hits, because as we've seen, Swinub absolutely cannot. My opponent is going to send back in the Togetic here, and I'm firing off the Last Resort. Last Resort will connect onto the Togetic. My switch clock is not quite up yet, and my guess is they're not baiting. So I'm going to commit the shield here. It is the Dazzling Gleam. My switch clock will finally come up, and it's Swinub time. They're firing off a charge move here. Is it the Ancient Power? Is it the Dazzling Gleam? It's the Ancient Power, and Swinub lived a charge move. It's an absolute miracle, and I'm firing off the Icy Wind. This will hit for super effective damage. Togetic will commit the shield. Opponent is going to save energy on the Togetic and snipe with the energy from Diggersby. Diggersby is going to KO, but now I get a farm down from my Deoxys. I still don't know what they have in the back. In the back, it's a Swampert. I'm really hoping it's going to be the Shadow Swampert. Psycho Boost will be shielded, and it is the Shadow Swampert. Oh my goodness, this might actually be doable. Debuff Psycho Boost still deals some solid chip damage, and I have so much energy on the Umbreon here. Swamp can make a Hydro, but they need the Quake to KO, and Umbreon gets to the foul play. This will be getting rid of the Swampert, and all they have left is the Togetic. Togetic has a long road ahead as it needs to get rid of not only the Umbreon, but a nearly full health defense Deoxys. In comes the Deoxys. Deoxys farming up, making it to the Psycho Boost, and that will be game over as Psycho Boost takes down the Togetic, and that's a good game. Moving into the next match, we need Defense Deoxys into Emolga. Deoxys does only hit for neutral in this matchup, so I figure I may as well go for a Psycho Boost and then look to reset the debuff and save switch into Umbreon. Psycho Boost connects, that does quite a bit of damage. Emolga staying in here and firing off a charge move. Emolga is going to full send the Acrobatics. Umbreon able to tank it, going for the foul play, but a very nice catch by my opponent, catching the foul play onto Medicham. The good news is I was able to bait out that Medicham, as of course the counters would just shred through the Swinub. Foul play is going to be no shielded by the Medicham, as Medicham is looking to fully farm down. Medicham decides against the farm down. They fire off the last second charge move. It is the Ice Punch, and that will be lethal. I'm going to send in Deoxys. Deoxys still has a lot of HP, so I should be able to tank multiple charge moves from the Medicham as I look to overfarm. They go for the Psychic, anticipating that I was going to throw before they made the double Ice Punch, but now that they Psychic, I can choose to overfarm quite a bit. They go for the Ice Punch. I thought about going for the farm down, but I didn't think I was quite going to get there, so I will settle for the Psycho Boost. Psycho Boost is going to connect onto the Medicham. My opponent has a Shadow Swampert in the back. Again, not what Swinub is hoping to see. Psycho Boost connects. In comes the Swinub. Swinub making it to the Icy Wind as the Swampert massively overfarms. Icy Wind onto the Shadow Swampert will be shielded. We do get the attack debuff, but even a debuffed Hydro Cannon will more than KO. Hydro will be shielded. I continue to farm with the Swinub. In comes Emolga, and I'm forced to fire off an Icy Wind to prevent an Acrobatics. Icy Wind is going to KO. There actually might be a win con here. I'm just going to have to trust in Deoxys and its ability to counter down everything. Hydro will KO. In comes Deoxys. I need to commit to the farm down. The question is, do they have the back-to-back here? Deoxys commits the shield. Swampert does have the back-to-back. Swampert with a sliver of HP takes out the Deoxys as we lose a heartbreaking game. Picking up a dream lead in the next match, Defense Deoxys into Shadow Alolan Sandslash. My opponent save switches into Medicham, and unfortunately for me, I have to stay in here. Medicham crushes my backline, so I'm just going to have to stay in here with the Deoxys and play this out. Medicham shields an early Thunderbolt, so they are looking to try and get rid of the DD if at all possible. I'm just going to stay in here, go for another Thunderbolt, but unfortunately, I will be outpaced by my opponent. They're going to fire off another Ice Punch. Oh, they actually go for the Psychic this time. Psychic does deal slightly more damage, even though it is resisted. Thunderbolt is going to connect onto the Medicham, farming up with the Deoxys, going for the Psycho Boost, but I lose CMP. The question is, does Deoxys live here? Ice Punch is not enough to KO the rank 1 Raid Deoxys, able to hang on and KO with the Psycho Boost. Sand Slash gets the farm down, but now I can align the Sand Slash onto my Umbreon. Umbreon does quite well here because I do have the resist against their Shadow Claws. They're going to fire off an Ice Punch. Ice Punch is going to be no-shielded by the Umbreon, as I know that I can very comfortably tank multiple moves here. I'm firing off the Foul Play. Foul Play is going to connect onto the Sand Slash. The fact that they're staying in keys me into the fact that they might be weak to Umbreon in the back, and if that's the case, I want to shield here. So I will commit the shield, and I'm firing off the Foul Play. Foul Play will be shielded. They are weak to Umbreon in the back. Umbreon continuing to farm. Opponent farms up, and Sableye is their final Pokemon. Foul Play will connect. In comes Swinub. Swinub farming up. Will be hit with a charge move from the Sableye here. This, I'm pretty sure, would just flat out KO, so I will shield and go for the Icy Wind. Icy Wind is, of course, going to lower their attack and do a little bit of chip damage. Sableye will be forced to throw, as I would make another Icy Wind. This will easily KO the Swinub, and now it's all up to Umbreon to try and win the game. Umbreon going for the aggressive Snarl down. Sableye makes a move. Did they make the return? Did they? They did not. It's a Foul Play. I try and click on the Foul Play, anticipating the combo play from the Sand Slash. Unfortunately, it does not trigger, but they do not have back-to-back moves, so we're still okay. Foul Play gets rid of the Sand Slash. Umbreon farms down, and that's a good game. We see a familiar lead in the next match, Defense Deoxys into Noctowl. Last time, I switched when I had the Thunderbolt. This time, I try something different. I switch as they make the Shadow Ball, and I am able to get the catch, but my opponent baited with a Sky Attack. That is quite unfortunate. I'm going to be met with a Shadow Quagsire. Quagsire is extremely spammy. They're firing off the Mud Bomb. Mud Bomb is going to connect, and now I'm going to return fire with the Foul Play. Foul Play will get some solid chip damage onto the Shadow Quagsire. Shadow Quagsire continuing to farm up. They're firing off another charge move. Do they full send the Stone Edge here? Do they go for the Mud Bomb? It is going to be the Stone Edge, but I'm able to hang on, make another Foul Play, put some pressure back onto the Quagsire. Foul Play is going to connect, farming up with the Umbreon. Umbreon will not get another Foul Play, as Quagsire will get the KO with the Mud Bomb. This does set up a nice farm for my Deoxys, however, and Deoxys is now ahead on energy. In comes the Noctowl. I'm firing off the Thunderbolt. Thunderbolt will be no-shielded by the Noctowl. I can now go for the Psycho Boost here if I want to. My opponent is going to send in a Shadow Swampert as their final Pokemon, so they are running double Mud Boy. Psycho Boost gets shielded. I'm going for Psycho Boost number 2. I need to get some chip damage, and then to reset the debuff, in comes Swinub. Swinub going for the Icy Wind, losing CMP to the Shadow Swampert. I will commit the shield, as I want to get this Icy Wind off, not only debuffing them, but hopefully forcing that final shield. Icy Wind gets the shield from the opponent. They farm up. They'll get to 2 before I get to my next, so I'm just going to let this go. I'm going to trust in the Deoxys. If I counter down, I can just win this game straight up. Noctowl did leave with a move, so I have to save the shield. I'm looking for the farm down with the Deoxys. Swampert lives on 1 HP, and I have thrown this game. If I just Psycho Boosted and KO'd, I could have won, but I have to burn the shield. I lose CMP to Noctowl, and that's game over. Hopping into the final match, we see a disastrous lead, Defense Deoxys into Galarian Weezing. Galarian Weezing, due to its typing and terrific coverage, is a massive core breaker for this entire team. I'm going for the Psycho Boost right off the bat. Opponent is going to no-shield. I'm going to farm up, look for the Brutal Swing catch onto the Umbreon, but my opponent shows great patience, hanging on to their energy. My opponent fires off an Overheat, so they are not running Play Rough. This is really good information to have, as odds are they're probably running Overheat and Brutal Swing. They go for Overheat number 2. My opponent now going to send in Defense Deoxys. Deoxys will be able to try and commit to the counter down, but they're going to pay a heavy price to do so, as Umbreon will make multiple Foul Plays. Foul Play is going to be fired at the Deoxys. Deoxys is going to commit the shield. Umbreon looking for the next Foul Play and gets there. That is massive. Foul Play is going to connect onto the Deoxys. Throw 1, and we catch the Thunderbolt onto Swinub. Oh my goodness. That is double resisted. They do have the Psycho Boost. I will commit the shield. I'm trying to protect this Swinub if I possibly can. Swinub farms down the Deoxys. What does the opponent have in the back? They have a Shadow Alolan Sandslash. I'm firing off the Rock Slide, which will hit for neutral into that Sandslash. Sandslash is going to no shield there. They're firing off a charge move, and that works for me. I just have to trust in Deoxys to win this game. Ice Punch is going to connect. In comes the Deoxys opponent. Now going to send in Galarian Weezing, but I have a big energy head start. I fire off the Psycho Boost. That gets the shield. Deoxys makes another Psycho Boost. This will KO. My counters are now 4 stages debuffed. Can I still counter down the Sandslash? Sandslash trying to make it to the back-to-back moves, but we lose CMP. The good news is we still have the shield loaded, so now I can fire off the Psycho Boost. Psycho Boost is going to connect onto the Sandslash. One more counter gets the KO, and that's a good game. All in all, I did have an absolute blast running this team. This team was incredibly difficult to get wins with, just due to the fact that Swinub literally has one meta win. It can beat Charizard in the zeros. In the ones and the twos, it loses to every single meta Pokemon on PB Poke. So it was definitely a challenge, but the few wins that I got were absolutely worth it. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. If you're enjoying the content, make sure to leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. And a special thank you as always to our members here on YouTube. The support you guys provide is absolutely incredible. So thank you guys oh so very much. And until next time, I've been HomeSliceHenry.